And just like that, you're camping again. And this is what I actually call camping. When you're here on a bike, the journey itself is part of the trip. The changing temperatures, the changing smells, the wind through your hair, as it were. The weather originally was forecast for rain today and tomorrow, Friday, Saturday. I was excited. I was going to come up in the truck and bring some stuff to restock the supplies, bring my green box as well. And by Wednesday, Thursday, the forecast had changed and the rain was gone from the forecast. So I decided I was going to take the opportunity to take the Buffalo finally back out on the trail. Get it back out on the road, get it back out in the dirt. After, I think, 9 months. And in the duration during the lockdown, I serviced the forks, new seals, new oil. I've got a new front rim. The stock Saxis brand rims that come on these KTMs, at least the ones that used to, are super soft. And upon looking at my third front rim, I upgraded to the 7000 series aluminum XL rims. So it looks the same size, same width. It's the wall thickness is a matter of a millimeter or some odd thicker, so it's going to be more durable. So my front wheel will stay around for longer when I'm riding off-road, which will be nice. And back out on the road, what else? I also had last year, or 2 years ago, installed the steering stabilizer, but kept the riser bars on. So just last month, I bought a steering damper low bar. So the steering damper low pro taper, and I got the Cycra guards because once I got the low rise bar, the stock guards had a fitment space issue with all of the cables and all that. So I got the Cycras that have the aluminum bar and the pro bend. And so my cockpit is a bit different. The handlebars are a little bit closer to myself and a little bit lower, making the handling of the bike a bit more for my size. I don't need a super high rise bar. When I was standing up on the bike, I was really just kind of standing up, but with this little lower rise, I have a bit more control. I'm a little bit more bent in the knees, a little bit better neutral position as far as floating on the bike. This morning, when I looked at the weather forecast again before leaving, rain is back in the forecast for tomorrow morning, and it looks like it's possible right now, which is cool. Because if it was going to rain, I initially was not going to take the motorcycle. But what adventure is that by avoiding a little bit of moisture? So I'm happy to be here on the bike and for the possibility of some moisture. I will be here for the next 2 nights. And the only thing on the docket is to collect firewood, some local camp beautification, trimming of oddball stuff that is dead and doesn't need to be here, and to just generally be here outdoors where I don't have to listen to my neighbors above me and below me. Job 1 is to set up the tent. Job 1 is actually to decide which tent pad to use. I've slept twice on the lower pad. I've not used the upper pad, so I think I'm morally obligated to try out this upper pad. So job 1, set up the tent and get everything that needs to be in from the weather, my riding gear, that stuff. That'll all go in the tent. And whether or not it rains, who cares? Once that's done, I'm free to roam about the camp and tinker and cut firewood. So I'm going to get to that. Tent time. that good stuff in the tent. There's usually more to rake, but it's only been a week. And may as well do it anyway, right? Let's keep whatever little build-up off. Doing the chores. Now that the chores are done, I'm gonna stop working and actually get out of my riding gear like I should do first. But I can't help myself. Just start working. The camp chairs for all the adventure guys say that you need a camp chair, you need a little camp chair. I've never understood the need for a camp chair when you've spent all the day riding, sitting on a motorcycle, standing, whatever. But in the green box over there, we've got camp chairs. My point is, when I'm normally camping, the Robinette special, watching Joe Robinette videos, he had mentioned the little squares that interlock for playroom floors and such. And I just so happened to have rescued some of these from being thrown out. What this is good for is I always kind of have kept a dirty side and a clean side. Dirty side goes down on the ground and it gives you something to stand on in your possibly sweaty socks, so you're not just picking up gravel in your socks, changing between your riding boots and your camp shoes. So it's a nice clean surface, and it just packs in the pannier and disappears. So it's one of my new must-haves. But it's been so long since I've been camping that I feel like a newbie again. So I brought everything. I brought obviously more than I'm going to need. Some stuff is going to stay here at camp. I brought tools, I got beer, I got food, I got clothes, I got camera gear, and overpackers live large. But like I said, some stuff is going to stay here. I've not been able to bring myself to purchase a firearm just because I'm not a huge fan. But I'm also not a huge fan of the idea of having to use bear spray. But up here, it's good to have something. So this is one of the items that I've been carrying around for 5 years. I don't know if it expires. Is there a born on date on bear spray? I've been carrying it around. I carried it around for the first year, and then it's been moved in my garage multiple times. So this is going to be here. Find a spot for it eventually, but that'll stay here at camp. I also got a slingshot, like I'm a little kid or something, but a slingshot, something to just play around with up here. Why not, right? Just stuff to play with. Good old-fashioned daisy slingshot has the I don't even know what side I'm left-handed. I know that when I shoot a pistol, I shoot right-handed. So see which way feels more natural. I'm ambidextrous. They both feel the same. So maybe I'll practice both ways. Get good at aim at left and right. Be smart, right? So this, another item that will just stay up here in camp. Stay in one of these boxes and will be here either to play with. I also got some steel ammunition, little steel balls that in a pinch you can hunt small game with it. By small game I mean like squirrels, birds, that kind of thing. And even in saying that, I'm an idiot. I know nothing about it, but I imagine that's what you could do as opposed to starving up here in the hills. So, water cube. which shoves down in there. Obviously will not take up a fraction of this space in a couple of days after I've basically depleted it. Plus, I've left a couple of 1 gallons. That is just tap water from San Ramon, but it's water nonetheless. I don't think I'm going to need to use it, but that's what it's there for. Spares. I got my instant coffees. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't like Starbucks, but these little instant coffees are really good. It's what I use now. I've got a full-sized coffee cup. I got my dangler. I've got my billy pot. I've got a spare can of fuel. Inside my billy pot is a can of fuel and my burner. And I've got 4 of the Mountain House meals that are the originals and the good stuff that will eventually run out of stock, but I like them. I'm going to use them. On this side, I've got my anti-helmet hair. I actually brought what was left of my coffee this morning just because I wasn't done with it. Which afterwards I realized I've got a ceramic coffee cup and now that just wasted space on the other side, but still kind of warm. Coffee. So on this side, I have today's lunch. I brought 2 sandwiches and a bunch of Guinness. And these are the Guinness that are not carbonated until you open them up, so they can bounce around here in the pannier and not run risk of blowing up. Not that I've ever had that happen, and I've had regular beers inside of here. 50-50 shot. I got the roast beef. Thank you, Brian. It's getting heavier and heavier. Nice, seasoned. It was dead standing or dead leaning. We didn't even have to cut it down. We just had to grab it and pull it out. Chores. Boreal 21. Buy one. It's funny, I'm putting everything in the wood store as I'm cutting it, but odds are if it's going to rain tonight into the morning, I will likely pull that stuff out and stick it inside the lean-to overnight before I go to bed, just so it stays dry till we get a roof on. Doesn't get much better than this. This is fire, guaranteed. So I'm pretty sure I've got enough wood for tonight. Got the small stuff and just halves, and that's gonna be plenty for me. Have a crumb-sized fire. None of the just tired of starting fires and saying, it's already bigger than I want. I don't believe you have to have a giant kind of a flash thing going to get coals burning. So I'm gonna do a crumb fire tonight, a normal fire for me tonight, and just kind of small and feed it. And once I'm done, it's done, and I'm safe to go to bed. The silence. I'm really getting these fall colors starting to pop in. Right now, it's perfect for moving about the camp and tinkering with wood and stuff. Normally, even the 70s up here, you start doing any of this stuff. I mean, I'm warm, but I'm not just drenched in sweat like normally we would be during the summer months. This is my first winter. Technically, it's my first fall into winter here. I still have no idea what the dirt is going to be like once it gets wet. And we will find out pretty quickly what our tent pads are going to do when they get wet. I don't know if we're going to be safe to leave them as they are, or if we're going to have to do some irrigation and do some little ditches to move the water like around the outside and down the hill, or if the canopy here is going to keep this place protected enough that we won't have to deal with that. But we're on the side of a hill, and I look forward to hearing this creek down here fill up with water. Looking forward to the sound of running water. My non-fancy fire to light it for my kindling. Just grabbed a handful of these leaves that are off to the side, and those are going to light right up. And some of the bark off of the stuff that I just split. And then some of the littles. With some bark. And I'm sure that that will go right up once I light it. Trees creaking in the wind. I'll check back in a while. I'm gonna hang out here and enjoy this silence. So, because these are best enjoyed in glass and I don't have one, because I don't think that it would survive the trip, I've got my spare coffee mug, my ceramic cup, so 'twill have to do. Whoa. I have a 1-pint coffee mug. If you look really closely, you can see the cascades in there. Oh, come on, you're not looking hard enough. Cheers. It's always important to bring garbage bags with you, so you can pack all your crap out. That and keep it separate from camp, so if any animals smell anything that might be interesting, they'll smell it up in the meadow and not over here by my tent. There are much worse things. So we're in a little microclimate up here, and we're just on the other side of this ridge of the coastal range, and each time the breeze kicks up and whips around the top of these trees, it drops another couple of degrees here. So a couple of more of these gusts while I'm waiting for my food to steep, and it'll be time for stretch down. Either way, I'm considering lighting this fire. It'll just be nice and comfy to have. Let's do this. Nice to be able to enjoy the heat for a change, as opposed to just wanting the ambience and sitting off to the side because it's too warm. It's really too bad that they had to go and mess all of these new ones up. These original versions are all really good. Cheers. Son of a bitch. Public service announcement. Fire is warm. Nice and peaceful up here. The things that, even though you enjoy the company at camp when you've got your buddies with you, there's the silence you get up from doing a solo camp. I'm not sure. In fact, I'm pretty positive it's not going to get cool enough to get actually in my sleeping bag. Maybe not even put a foot in. I'll be on top of it. Hopefully the night proves me wrong. Really like it to cool off a little bit. All right, the fire's about out. It's mesmerizing. I know it's time to head in and go to the tent, but I can't stop staring at the coals. All right, to the tent. And that's about as much as you'd want to ask for a Friday night, right? Ride for a few hours, up into some dirt, set up camp, have some beers, a fire, and some food. That's what it's all about. So I'm turning in. Nice and quiet. Hopefully it stays that way all night. And we'll see what the weather has in store for us in the morning. Good night, all. Good morning. Not sure if any of this is bright enough, but it's getting light out, which my guesstimate is that it's approaching 7. I've been up for a short bit, but trying to roll over and go back to sleep through all the noises of the birds and squirrels. Birds and squirrels. Got chilly enough at some point in the wee pitch dark hours for me to climb into my bag with a leg out, but I'm in the bag for the first time this year. Feels really good to wake up on a Saturday morning in the tent, in the bag. Let's go out and see what's going on in the old camp. That's nice to wake up to. And no rain. Yet. See? That's more like it. That is what it's supposed to be in the morning. It's supposed to be chilly. It's not cold. But it's not 82 degrees, that's for sure. Starting to look like fall. Morning coffee and a fire. That's about what's on the agenda for the next, I don't know, 4 hours. Food's gonna happen within an hour. I kind of foresee that, but hanging at camp. Listening to noises in the forest. It's nice and clear inside the canopy here, but I can see that just outside the canopy everything is shrouded in fog. Maybe I'll take the panniers off the bike and go for a ride, go up the hill. see what there is to see. But that'll be later. There's just something really peaceful, really relaxing about being somewhere that you know that there's nobody else. Nobody else can hear you. You don't have to listen to anybody else. I guess I'm a recluse, or I'd like to be. Just so tired of having other people's presence forced on us. We could all do a lot more of this, that's for sure. Throughout the week, you have to set an alarm to get up for somebody else, to show up, to sell your time to somebody else for an hourly wage or a salary or whatever. You have to wait in line at a light to drive forward in your car. You have to wait in line at a gas station to fuel it up. You have to wait in line to get food. You have to wait in line for everything because there's too many people. Out here, you heat yourself when you're cold. You drink when you're thirsty. You eat when you're hungry. You sleep when it's dark. You get up when it's light. You do the physical work that needs to be done to keep yourself safe and warm. Nobody's waiting on you. You're not waiting on anybody. You get to just live. It's nice to get tastes of it on the weekend, but it makes me a little freedom sick. Nicely enough, voice, nicely enough, I'm starting to feel a little sprinkly stuff coming down. Little sprinkly stuff. Hard to tell if it's just heavy fog coming down through the canopy, but nevertheless, anything that okay, maybe my gloves. Anything that I don't want to get wet that's still out, just kind of stick in the lean-to. And that is really the first time that I'm extremely thankful for the lean-to be here, is if it starts raining. I could have done with or without it. Once this place evolves a couple of steps further, you'll see where we're going with it. And things will turn out pretty cool, but nice to have just some peace of mind. You can just place things underneath, and if it rains, who cares? Actually, really hope it rains. I'm more excited to see what happens to this dirt when it gets wet. If it turns into complete snot and is unrideable, which I don't think it will because it's filled with rocks. I don't know. Time will tell. We're starting to have some raindrops, like actual raindrops. Pretty excited. This is why I came up. So everything's under cover. I'm gonna just kind of keep the fire going if I can. Sure I will. I don't think it's gonna rain, but what an awesome way to spend morning coffee and breakfast. One day in the future, see it VR, be it really cool cameras, I'm sure there will eventually be a way for me to share what this smells like. The first rain in a forest. This is what Saturdays should be like. So now that the raindrops are starting to fall, not using my voice between shots, so when I speak, anyway, now that the rain is starting to fall, the nice little sheltered area here, I'm beginning to see that once I'm sitting here, what's wrong with this picture? There may need to be a revised fire ring. That's a decent spot for summer when there's no moisture. But if it's going to be raining and you're going to be hanging out at camp, I'm thinking somewhere right here, just outside of the bounds. So I don't know if a second one, I don't want to necessarily move that one because it's awesome where it is. I think maybe just a second one. We'll be balling with 2 little fire rings. We didn't build this thing to hang out in, but if you're stuck here, then about 6 feet out, about here, yeah, right about where the workbench is. So you can get the benefits of the warmth if you need it, maybe even a little closer. But I figure maybe with a couple of pieces of paracord, no, if you tarp out from the corners, an overhang to just a couple of mobile poles and then guide them off to hold it up, and you can have an overhang and have it safe enough you're not going to catch it on fire if you need to have a fire here. The Brian storming continues. For now, breakfast. I would agree that it may seem a bit wasteful, especially once the weather turns and we're back up here when it's actually cold and actually wet. But I think I've got enough firewood here. I can keep the fire going all day long if I want to. Just hang out here at camp with the fire. There's still plenty of day left that I can go out and grab some more. There's plenty of dead standing, not even standing, dead leaning, that I could drag some more stuff down here and cut stuff later for tonight if I need it. But just gonna hang out here, enjoy this for a while. Approaching lunchtime now. And the radar shows that there's no rain. So this must be that whole microclimate. This is the condensation from stuff coming up over the ridge. So it's not full-on clouds blowing in from anywhere. I was told that this is a rainforest. I didn't believe it, but now I do. I'd also like to do a quick rating of this lean-to. I give this about a 8.5 out of 10. I wasn't sure about it at first. Give it an 8.5 because it still has work left to be done, like an actual roof instead of a camouflage tarp, and some cladding on the walls. And maybe that would hinder and make things a little worse. I'm inside. I'm protected from the rain. I've got plenty of room. I can cook my stuff. I've got my electronics here. I could even sleep in here. There's plenty of shelter, plenty of space. It's not claustrophobic in there at all. It's nice and open. And like I said, if the fire pit was closer, it would act more as a shelter as opposed to its current staging use as a staging point. You can see I've got room to hang out the benches and even all the way to the back. This can go back another 6-8 inches. But there's plenty of space in here for me to sit, and I'm sheltered, and it can rain and do whatever it wants out there, and I'm golden. Future plans is there will be another one facing that way, just like this, down there at the lower tent pad, and there will be one at the other tent pad facing the opposite direction. And I wasn't as excited before about it as I am now, seeing how useful they are. thumbs up. Solid. I had to shed the rain shell. It's still only 61 degrees, but overheating and getting all sweaty underneath the rain shell is much worse than getting wet from the outside while finishing bucking down this wood. So ditch the rain shell and finish chopping this stuff down. We've got a box of hot wood here that we've kind of reserved for cooking on. So if we're going to cook some food over the flame, we're going to use the good hot wood. Better to have it and not need it. There's plenty of stuff and there's plenty of time during the afternoon. I'm totally not used to spending 2 nights in the same spot. It's always been Nomad motorcycle camping, where each night is at a different stop, hundreds of miles apart, linking together for longer distance trips, but this is what I've got for now. So I'm gonna take all these pokies, strip these off, save these for kindling for later to try to get the night fire going after I let this one get put out by the rain. Another brine storm, just to make some sort of a cover for the fire pit, so when we're not using it, we can at least keep it dry. I let the fire go out, figured I can light it again later, but if it's all cold and wet, I'm not convinced. So I put some punky stuff on there. I'm gonna let it catch back, and I'm gonna go collect more wood. You don't need to watch me do that. All right, I take that back. This shelter gets an A+. It's piss and rain, and I don't have to worry about getting wet bucking the wood out in the rain, because I know that I've got a nice dry spot. And I always plan on bringing a towel or two, even if you don't think it's gonna rain. It's always good to have a sweat rag or whatever, but doesn't look like the rain is stopping. I've got a decent amount of wood. I got some kindling in case I need to start another one later, in case this one gets put out by the rain. Wow, what a Saturday. Holy crap. There's a scorpion right there. There's a scorpion in the shelter. There's always something, right? So he's somewhere here in between the tarp and the slats, and I can't find him. Not that I should be surprised based on the region that we're in and the kind of structure that this is, but that definitely changes a lot of things. Like what I nonchalantly leave sitting out, my hat and my gloves, who knows what's in that wood. But like my camera bag is open, so all of this stuff I'm going to move out from underneath this roof. And I guess I'll put it in my tent when I'm not using it for safekeeping, keep it dry, and to keep scorpions from crawling in it. Hopefully it'll stop raining soon, and the necessity for hanging out underneath this scorpion tarp will be lessened. Yay! But it's nice to know, at least when everything's in a tent, I'm not going to have scorpions in my boots. Bah! I guess that belongs to the scorpion. I can't find it. If there's one, I assume there's more than one. Scorpion check. Alright. To add to the peace and solitude and the scorpions is the landowner has some friends that came up, and they're just over that rise shooting guns. So my peace and solitude is no longer. My plan next was going to be to take a nap. I don't know, it's in the afternoon now. I've had my sandwich for lunch, and I was going to take a nap and enjoy the rain sound on the tent and let the rain pass. Now I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do. I don't want to just bug out. But if it's going to be A, raining, and B, firing range just right over here, then not exactly what I was up for. See what I can do about that nap and sleep on it, if I can. This will be fine to burn out. It's not going to go anywhere. I'm just going to lay down, maybe see if I can just take a quick nap, 20 minutes or so, and think about what I'm going to do. I have options. Nice and peaceful. I don't have too much pride. I think not only is there no rain on the forecast, but I have enough reception here that I can see that the radar doesn't even show that there's rain here. I'm going to give it a few more minutes. If it doesn't show signs of slowing, then I think I'm just going to go ahead and pack it on out and go riding back in the direction of home. Keep looking for this scorpion. But if it's just gonna keep raining, I think I would rather ride in it than stand around in it. I still consider this to be a success. One thing that I've not got to practice is we have kind of a plan on how we would set up in the rain, but there's also a packing up in the rain. I can take down my tent, so I can pack up all of my stuff that's inside the tent while I'm in the tent. I can take down my tent inside the rainfly, I think. And then the rainfly, I can do my best. I can do my best to dry the outside of the rainfly, and then before folding it up and sticking it back in my roll bag for the next stop. Actually, I do have garbage bags as well, so I can do that and fold up my rainfly and put it in its own separate garbage bag, so I'm not getting everything else wet. And if I fold it with the wet side in, then everything dry is on the outside, and next time I open it at the next stop, it's still just wet on the outside, dry on the inside. Sounds like a good idea to me. Sounds logical. I was going to say this was really close to being a great trip, but it is a great trip. Still a 15 to 17% chance I'll stay. I will have to say that the sky does not look quite as dark as it did earlier. Granted, it was earlier in the day. I would also hate to pack it up and get ready to go and have it just stop. You can't rely on the weather, especially up on a mountain. Things change. This is adventure. This is exactly what adventure is. Trying to make a plan and then rolling with the punches. Because we have control over nothing. Not one thing. Well, maybe one thing. You control over what you do and how you react. Everything else is on its own schedule. And even if I end up leaving, I can still afford a few more of these sticks. And to keep this going for a little bit of warmth and ambiance in the meantime. I think I'm going to stay. The sky is getting brighter. I think the rain is starting to slow. If I just stop my bitching and relax and hang out, then this rain will pass. Everything will dry by tomorrow morning, and I'll get to hang here and enjoy a few pints by the fire in the forest. The guys that are shooting off in the distance right around over on this ridge, they're not going to be here forever. The chances to come up for 2 nights in a row, they don't come by very often. So I'm not going to wuss out. Got wood. Got my pints. Got water. Got my dinners and my breakfast for tomorrow. What's left? Chillin', chillin', chillin'. This, everybody, is what you call a shadow from the sun. Patience is a virtue, right? Fresh batteries. Fresh charge, fresh attitude. It's 2 o'clock. It appears that there's the sun. The rain's got to be slowing down. And I'm just going to stop being a wuss. And my commitment to staying. Gonna crack a pint. I only had 2, so that leaves me a few for this afternoon. I'm gonna crack one now and chill out and enjoy all of this. I'm gonna keep this fire going all afternoon into the evening, then there will be some more wood collecting and some more bucking of the wood. So we'll definitely burn this off, but damn it, it's time for a beer. My Irish green cup. Where are you? Damn it. It's not our forest. It's their forest. Hello. Still want to kill it. Can you bug bomb a lean-to? I'm such a wuss. Wait for it to froth. Let the nitrogen spread. 45-degree pour. Granted, I'm not going to make the little shamrock or the little heart and stuff on top like Aya used to do. Or can I? Nope. I'm not that cool. And then drink. Cheers. To camping. To scorpions. And spiders and rain and adventure. I hope that this is really helping to put out all these fires here in California. Hopefully the entire region is getting this and not just here. Because I'm tired of everything being on fire. Tired of all the drama. Let's just get back to what we used to consider normal. Bring on the fall. Bring on the fall. So I think all the rest of the water that's falling from the sky is actually coming off the leaves in the trees. Big drops in groups. So I've officially lost the, took off the rain jacket, the rain shell, shook that out, put it in the tent. I think I will be okay with what I've got. I'll be able to tell hours from now when it actually starts to get dark and decide whether or not I want to go grab something else and pull it in. But for now, I've got plenty. I'm just going to keep this going because where am I going? I'm where I want to be. And there's no better time than after a pint, after a rain, to get neurotic and to rake out the campground. Now clearly defined is the footprint, the paths, the tent pads. Granted, more leaves are going to fall, and we have to rake it each time that we come out anyway if we want it to be cleared. This is, so far, what is the entire camp. And as improvements are made, we will continue to make documentation. Once this ground is properly muddy, I think what I'll do on one of these trips is maybe edge in and level the paths. And I don't know if I want to put some stones in place for steps. It all really depends on how the dirt turns out to be after a proper number of rainstorms. So later in the season. But for now, this is tidy. This is exactly how I would leave it. except I would do deliberate rake lines so we can CSI and check for animal tracks as well as with the camera. Raking is hard work. Don't let anybody tell you any different. Sweating again. Pint number 2. Here we go. I just can't sit still. Try to relax. What happens? I bust out the loppers and I start trimming up the surroundings. Making my campsite my own little bonsai project. I don't know if you can see the difference. I can see the difference. It's just nicer to be, nicer to look at. Pulled out a bunch of dead stuff. Most of it I didn't even know the loppers. They have been sticking out of the ground, but there hasn't been roots on those things for a long time. Starting to look like home. I almost left today. I almost packed up all my toys and went home. It was raining. There was somebody shooting over there, making loud noises, messing up my peace. It's done. It's over. I've got this perfect evening, perfect weather, and a nice little fire. It's 62 degrees. It's awesome. I would have missed out on this had I just decided that that's the way that things were and I'm just going to bug out. I'm glad that I'm here. I'm lucky to be here. There's literally no place else to go. It's either on fire and or closed. Things won't be like this forever. But enough about you. I'm hungry. It's time for dinner. Check it for scorpions. Beef stroganoff. Add bone broth. Beef bone broth and this. So great. So this is not my regular brand. It's not perfect. It's still good, but it adds a lot of protein, a lot of flavor to the beef stroganoff, and it makes what's already good with the old stuff, makes it even better. And better for you. You know your water's at a decent boil when the whole pot is moving around on you. It says whatever 10, 9, whatever minutes it says on the back. But I'm going to set it to the side with that heavy boil. And I'm going to let it sit for like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I don't know, whatever it takes me to drink my final pint. And this is going to be a 1 pint steep. And afterwards, I'm going to wolf this down. And it's getting dark pretty quickly. My bet is after a little bit more tinkering around the camp, I'm going to be pretty set up for a decent full night's coma. So, pint time. What is that? That's blue sky. That's blue sky. Better late than never, right? I hope that means it's going to be cold tonight. I actually get to use all of my sleeping bag. That would be cool. Again, careful what I wish for. My goals for tonight: no bears, no cats, no scorpions, No wolves. No spiders. Just drama-free night. Drama-free sleep. Long, deep slumber. A decent sleep in. And a good ride out. Do I ask for a lot? Am I needy? Tell you what, though. This morning's fire and breakfast and coffee and rain, I'm definitely going to make a separate video of just that. I don't know how long it's going to be. I don't know how much I got. But I'm just going to make it its own video. I hope some people enjoy it. I know that I will put it on background in the middle of the summer when I wish that we had rain. It'd be good to watch. There's no telling how long it's take this video to come out. I'm still trying to learn a new video editing software. Holy crap, what a pain in the butt. You learn one, neither one is like any other. You get used to one and it turns out to be a piece of crap. GoPro, I've just switched. So, I don't know how long it's going to take for this video to come out. I have previous videos that I haven't made because I've just, first of all, lockdown, chaos, fires, riots. But I still have some decent stuff from last winter, before the national forests were on fire. Good enough. This thing really swelled. Super long steep. Yeah. So the regular amount of protein plus the added protein of the bone broth, and I should be growing muscle in my sleep, be buffed by morning. Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, that's good. It's sad that there's only going to be a few of these left. And still really warm, even after a pint. I'm so glad I stayed. It's funny. It's actually darker. In some cases, the GoPro shows it brighter than it actually is. And then at some point, as it gets dark enough, you can still see, but the GoPro doesn't see anything. One of these days, I will likely invest in an actual, like a mirrorless or a DSLR. I used to be into it, but got out of it. Does anybody have any suggestions as for what would make a good camera for the stuff that I'm doing? Obviously not to mount to the bike for GoPro stuff, but for here at camp. What do you use? What's good? What is robust? What is packable? What has good battery life? What has the ability to manually focus or has an autofocus that's worth a shit? Let me know. I can't believe how good this is. Out of a pouch. Out of a bag. Don't forget to brush. The temperature is just the way I like it. At this point, I'm hearing noises off to either side of me in the hills, which I believe are potentially coyotes. But I'm fed. It's late, and so I'm gonna head towards the tent and head towards the stealthiness of the tent and call it a night. All right, safely inside the vestibule. Just a false sense of security, I'm sure, but I've got noises coming from both uphill and downhill that are yelping back and forth between the two. Call it a basic roll call, but having them on either side of me doesn't make me feel great. All right, battery died. Now that I'm safely inside the tent with my anonymity once the light's out, time to hit the hay. I know that I'm going to sleep well tonight. I'll see what we got going in the morning. Good night, everybody. Good morning. It's starting to get light out. I cheated and looked. It's 7 o'clock. Tell you what, the thing about being inside this canopy, waking up at various points throughout the night, inside the canopy, it gets so pitch black. There's no light. I couldn't discern the difference between my eyes being open and my eyes being closed. Nice and chilly outside. And I just want to lay here. Got no reason to be jumping out of the tent, except for coffee. There's always coffee. Good morning. It's the commitment move. When you know you're getting out of bed, you know you're not getting back into bed. The commitment move is to pull the plugs on your air mattress. And you just let it deflate while you're laying on it. And now you're just laying on the ground. Now it's really time to get up. And suddenly, nothing happened. 54 degrees. I'll definitely be having a morning fire. In fact, it's the kind of thing I want to get going first. Oh, there's actually still a little bit of warmth on these bricks, which is not surprising considering this fire was going all day yesterday. Excellent. This is 2.5 gallons. I didn't have it quite full because I wanted to make sure that it was going to still fit inside my pannier. Plus, if it's super full, not only does it take up space, it weighs a lot. This morning, I'd like to actually have a cup of coffee or two. Instead of drinking out of my to-go container like I'm on the run, just want to sit down and have a good cup of coffee. So darn it, that's what I'm going to do. That is so much nicer, so much more like a cup of coffee. It's because it is something to warm your hands. Wow, that's hot. Happy Sunday. I actually got really lucky with this trip. I wanted to see rain up here, and I got to see rain. I got rained on in the best possible scenario. Nothing stays the way it is forever. Just roll with the punches. Good stuff is on the other side. Definitely a vehicle for adventure. I'm just going to take the opportunity before the sun is up. It's time to tear down the tent and start packing up all that stuff and deciding which stuff stays. Wow, yeah, there's some water in the tent. Yeah, I'm not sure if I split a seam or if that came down from the hill, but whatever. Just give it a good shake out. Oh, there goes my headlamp. It was in my gear loft. So it just had pooled up from the rain underneath the tent. Thankfully I stayed dry inside. That's also what the footprint is for. So just a couple of minutes and that'll be dry. Same with that. Which is also what's nice about carrying these microfiber cloths from Costco. Just makes quick work. One of my first couple of trips camping like this, I got my tent, everything down into the bag. I got everything mounted on the bike and I'm searching my pockets for my keys for the bike. Couldn't find them. Turned out they were still in the gear loft in the tent, so I had to unpack everything to get the keys out, repack everything, get back on the road. Save you a little bit of time just to triple check yourself along the way. Not have to backtrack, but it's not a game ender. It's just frustrating and a little funny. Don't forget to brush. I'm enjoying the peace and quiet here, but I'm also kind of excited to go riding some more and eventually head towards home. So sitting here and doing nothing isn't really that productive, other than therapeutic. Fire's out. I'm mostly packed. Got a couple of adjustments to make on the bike. And since this was the first ride on the new bars and handguards setup, I got a little aggressive with my lever angles. just a little bit too low. So just a quick adjustment. Should be about good. It's always good to carry basic tools because you never know. Points. I like to rake out cat before I leave. Leaving the gradient lines. It'll show any animal footprints. It'll show any footprints, period, if anybody's been here. And it's just nice to return to when everything's all nice and tidy and clean. Can't say that I did that for home. Aside from the few hours ride on the way out, this is about a wrap. 3 days, 2 nights in the books. First solo in ages. Much needed, much appreciated. Glad I didn't wuss out. I appreciate you guys. I can't even talk. I appreciate you guys sticking to the end of the video here. And I hope you had fun. I hope it was therapeutic on some level for you. Check out my other video that I'm going to put up. It's the Saturday morning campfire and rain. We'll see how long that is. But time to get on up out. See you next time.